What's it like being directed by another actor? Does that change anything?
I don't know.
I'm just curious to know, compared to like when you know your director is also.
Just to help her out, actors when they make films are mainly to present themselves. They feel frustrated that most directors have not used them properly, so therefore they make their films, and most of the films are like heavy on dialogue and mumblecore films basically, and they're just performing constantly, and the camera doesn't go off. I've been kind of conscious of that with my first film also, and so in that sense, I'm really not an actor when I'm making a film. I don't know what.
Yeah, no, it was really quite wonderful because we did a lot of prep actually before going there, and many conversations were had as to how we would kind of just, inhabit a space and the character. Once we were there, no, I mean, I think it was a really lovely. We all had like ownership of the film. It wasn't like I'm just an actor or I'm just a script supervisor or a costume person. I mean, all of us did everything. So there was I felt ownership, and I think it was something we really did together. So he wasn't like telling me what to do, but actually sometimes I really would look to him and see how he was feeling, or what his face was doing behind the the little monitor, and try and merge it all together.
I also want to ask you about violence. So much of this film was about violence. It's about sort of the aftermath of violence, the anticipation of it, and there's some horrific scenes. The scene where he's peeing blood, and it's somebody who's coming out of things you can only imagine. There's that doctor scene where a doctor is sort of almost casually asking him, and you can just imagine the amount of patients this doctor has spoken to in the past. There's that incredibly uncomfortable scene with the army officer. Yet you never actually show us violence. We're always in that headspace, always scared of it or anticipating it, but you never actually show that in the film. Why was that? Why was it important?
Because I think the whole idea, the whole process actually begins with the violence that I have felt being a Kashmiri, even though I have not lived it. So being at a distance and yet feeling the humiliation and the indignities is where this process begins. And through the process, giving some of that dignity back to through the characters, basically to Kashmiris, is the idea. So yes, I mean, the violence is actually, or was documented. Now it's being slowly erased. If you know that, newspaper archives are being erased as we speak about all the violence that has happened in the last 30-35 years. So the idea was not to vent basically about our plight. It's the opposite. It's actually reclaiming some of the dignity that we've lost. We as in Kashmiris I'm talking about. So because it's a Kashmiri perspective. So the idea is to, like I said, it's basically to reclaim some of that dignity.